One of the commands I didn't mention on the introduction to the PCBIOS part of the monitor is actually the ability to debug the information coming to the BIOS via the various software interrupts going into it. Normally this debugging mode is off, the debug flag is off. If you press the D command, you can actually set the debug to various levels, showing more or less detail depending on what you need to know. If you go to the maximum level of detail, which is 3, a lot of information will be sent out. This information is sent over a serial port to another computer, which just displays the information on that terminal without upsetting your current terminal here. So if we hit the P command, we have now the display is on, and if we hit the P command, we will actually send every major interrupt, depending how it's defined, every major interrupt will actually be sent to the serial terminal, and it will show up on that terminal as the computer, for example, in this particular case, boots MS-DOS from the hard disk. So hitting the P command, we are now booting up the hard disk, and over here on our serial terminal, we're actually sending out a lot of information as the various software interrupts are coming into the BIOS itself. You can see it stopped here, simply at the point where MS-DOS is waiting to get the time and date information. So we can actually look in detail at this particular. Let's go back up to the start here. You can see there was a request for the time and date. And most of the interrupts in this particular case are the hard disk interrupts. And it's an interrupt 13, hard disk. And you can see the various very critical parameters. AH equals 0, which means it's actually resetting the hard disk. And this shows you the requested track, head, track, and sector, and actually the number of sectors required in this particular case 1, and this shows the first couple of bytes of that particular sector. So if we go down here, for example, interrupt 1302, which means read the sectors, we're actually reading from starting at track 9, is head 9, track 0, sector 22. We're going to read a total of 10 sectors, and these are the initial bytes of each of those sectors. So all the information is displayed continuously on the screen for this debug mode. This is actually very, very useful when you're writing the BIOS initially or writing a custom section to the BIOS. It traps not just interrupt 13, but all the other major interrupts, in particular the cassette interrupt, which is used for many other things other than the cassette itself. This is all fairly well demonstrated in the web on many websites, and I have 1 or 2 references in the s100computers.com, which should help you get started.